Well, I think as an entrepreneur, you should not be enamored with your product or service. I've seen, especially on startups, where they're so busy with the product that they don't get out and test it with the customer base. And a product without sales is not a good thing.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So, why do you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I joined the firm Accenture, and Accenture is all about helping your clients be successful, and you have sales quotas. And after I was with the firm for 22 years, 10 of those as a partner. In order to be promoted to partner, you need to be selling millions of dollars of work. And so I just was really interested in helping clients solve problems. No one calls a consultant if there's no problems, plenty of time, and lots of money. They always call when there are big problems, uh, money's tight, and time ran out. So, I just really enjoy those challenges. About 80 to 90% of Accenture's customers are repeat customers because success breeds success. And we work with the top uh, Fortune 500 companies. I was in public sector and higher education, and just helping them make progress was a lot of fun.
So, how is transition, right, from being an employee to actually being a partner and somehow become your own boss? So, what are the difference and what you recommend to people when they want to do this transition?
Well, you're moving from being good at certain tasks to actually building a business, and you have to not only sell the work, but you have to deliver the work. And by that, you better have a team that you've hired and mentored to help you deliver on that. So it's not just sales. You have to sell and then eat what you eat what you kill. And people could sell but not deliver, and that's not how it works as a partner with the firm.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit more. What are the big challenges that you have as an entrepreneur, and what is and how you got the challenge?
Actually, after I retired from Accenture, I went to the University of Texas at Austin and became the chief information officer. And that university has 54,000 students, 4,000 faculty, 21,000 staff. And I was in charge of the central IT group, 330 people, $40 million budget. And the the biggest challenge was changing the culture. So the culture I inherited was one of fire drills and rewarding heroics. And the customers hated that. They don't like fire drills and they don't like heroics. And I worked to change the culture to become proactive customer service culture. And I did that by articulating the values. What do we stand for? And I talked to our customers and I said, what do you want from us? And they wanted collaboration. They wanted consistency. They wanted truthfulness, because not we weren't always truthful in the past. And the number one value for the organization from my staff was I had a family first philosophy. So basically, I would encourage them to um, go to the doctor if they're sick, go to training, take vacation. Because I live in Austin, Texas, which is a big high tech town. All the big companies are here: Facebook, Meta, et cetera, Google. I cannot compete on salary, but I can compete on a balanced lifestyle. And I would model that behavior. I would model that behavior. I would take my vacations. I would not answer email 24 hours a day. I would go to the doctor. I would go to the school play. And I expected them to do the same. And then I had to hire with people with that cultural fit in mind. So
Absolutely.
three of my
Understand.
seven, of my seven directors I had to let go, and I hired people who really were proactive, customer service oriented. And I wrote a blog once a week for 8 years to
Oh, wow.
talk about the messages. It went to 330 people in my organization, about 300 other people on campus, just so they would know what we were doing. That gets back to the transparency. I would even I'd talk about our priorities. I would talk about um, what we're doing to improve. I would apologize when we screw up, which, an organization that big, things will go wrong. It's just how do we deal with it when they go wrong? I would orient everybody. Every new hire went through orientation. Sometimes they'd try to slip away and not come. I'd find them and bring them to the next month's orientation to talk about the values and meet the management team. And then we had quarterly all staff meetings, and we'd bring customers in, and customers would talk about what they're doing and how we can help them. So it took about 9 months, but we were finally able to slowly change the culture. And a woman who worked for me read my book, and she said, "You don't have my story in there." I said, "What story?" That when you ordered me to go meet with that IT manager who hated us. I said, "Oh yeah, that story." And so she went and met once a month with this person. And as that person saw us getting better, more customer oriented, more uh, dependable, she became an advocate after 7, 8 months. And her boss, who also hated us because the prior people were not truthful, he became an advocate. But you have to, going back to the first thing I mentioned, you have to create and nurture those business relationships.
As leader, what it really means, what it's gonna take, to succeed effective and proactive, it can change the course of the decision.
Hmm.
So what is concept? What is your concept of virtue? Your definition.
Well, I think the good news is that you don't have to be born with the ability to build business relationships. You just have to get out there and do it. And my advice to entrepreneurs would be get out of the office and tell people you give a damn. Don't hide behind your screen. Don't hide in LinkedIn, but get out there, whether it's virtually or in person, and talk to people. And you don't have to talk to everybody, but who are your most strategic vendors? Meet with them, because if they know where you're going, they might be able to help you get there. Same thing with prioritizing your customers. But people kind of get in a rut. They're in their office and they're not getting out there. All you have to do is put it on your calendar as a recurring meeting. Okay, my biggest customer, I'm meeting every month. And show up with an agenda, meet in their office, don't make them come to you, and if you just do that simple thing, you will build a trusting relationship.
Understand? Understand. And then uh, so we also have some things that happen in the organization where there is a senior or junior leader or a senior leader. Okay. And sometimes organizations say they hire somebody to lead the skills. But then they get upset and say, what did I have a lot of experience. I was so many years here. And as a owner, I should be manager. And sometimes the leadership teacher by some organizations, prefer to find someone teach the skills and if you compromise it, okay, you know, sometimes you have to send them the operator because they say, well, I'm the formally I should be higher than I more without knowing that it doesn't matter that you have a expert for a degree become a director or manager so there was some skills that maybe they give you a contribution for check you know that you have the skills. So how you deal with the knowledge? Such a little
Well, I think as an entrepreneur, you should not be enamored with your product or service. I've seen, especially on startups, where they're so busy with the product that they don't get out and test it with the customer base. And a product without sales is not a good thing. And so the other thing is they're too slow to hire staff who do know how to operate. So they have the creative energy and the creative idea, but they don't know how to operationalize it. And so I see the entrepreneur are too slow to hire staff that actually can help them scale. And but I think the first thing is just being too enamored with their product and ignoring the customer. And that is why 90% of the startups fail in the first 2 years.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.